There is one statistic out this week that has been completely and utterly ignored by mainstream media. Yes, of course, I've talked about it on GB News, but nobody else is picking it up. This is what it is. Now, we know, according to government numbers, over 150,000 people have died since the start of the pandemic, and on their death certificates, it says COVID. Now, it can mean they've died of COVID, but equally, it can mean they've died with COVID. But some bright spark wrote to the Office of National Statistics and asked a very simple question. How many people have died with COVID on their death certificate, but with no other underlying health problems, i.e. they haven't got a pre-existing heart problem or whatever it may be? And the answer that came back is eye-watering. It is 17,500 people. Now, I'm not for one moment underplaying the fact there are 17,500 people there, families, people have lost husbands, wives, mothers, kids. I understand that for all of those, this has been dreadful. But let's get a sense of perspective. We've locked down the country on and off for 2 years. We've put restrictions on people. We've taken away liberties in a way that didn't even happen in the time of World War II. And we've done it all because we were told this was a deadly pandemic. And the fear of that pandemic actually made most of us, most of the time at least, do what we were told. But when you actually learn that we did all of this for 17,500 deaths, and when you understand 700,000 people die in the UK every single year, you begin to get a sense of perspective. Is Sajid Javid, the Health Secretary, talking about this number? No, of course he is not. But it is, I repeat, an Office of National Statistics number. Another number that came today is, remember just a few weeks ago, the Omicron variant, Boris Johnson's press conference in which he used the word emergency 4 times. And the big worry was London. London is where Omicron was out of control. Could London hospitals cope? Protect the NHS. This is what we've been hearing for 2 years. Well, it now turns out that of those currently in London hospitals, and they're 93% full, but then they always are at this time of the year. Of those currently in London hospitals, of those in hospital with COVID, 60% of those supposedly in with COVID are there for another reason. They just either happen to have COVID, or in the case of half that number, they caught COVID whilst they've been in hospital. I'm not urging people to throw out of the window any sense of being grown up, taking reasonable precautions, cleaning your hands, things like that. What I am saying is I don't think ever again we should completely put our faith and trust in government to do the right thing or to tell us the truth. And that, nearly 2 years into this pandemic, is the big lesson. That figure of 17,500 says to me, I will never ever take for granted anything government ever tells me again. I will never ever trust anything government ever tells me again. And I urge you just to pause and reflect on that for a short moment of time. I'm not advocating anarchy. I'm not advocating law breaking. What I'm telling you is the mindset of our leaders in this country and around the Western world operates through something called groupthink. They all do the same thing, and any critical voices are shouted down, banned, barred, and written off as being bad. But I think that figure of 17,500 needs a lot more circulation and a hell of a lot more debate.
Thank you for watching this video. Now, to make sure you don't miss any future videos, please click the subscribe icon and the notification bell. Until next time, when I give you another story that mainstream media dare not cover.